frustrating to me when people have a negative relationship with failure. Failure is a massive part of being able to be successful. You have to get comfortable with failure. You have to actually seek failure. Failure is where all of the lessons are. You know, when you go to the gym and you work out, you're actually seeking failure. You want to take your muscles to the point where you get to failure, because that's where the adaptation is. That's where growth is. Successful people fail a lot. They fail a whole lot more than they succeed, but they extract the lessons from the failure, and they use that the energy, and they use the wisdom to come around to the next phase of success. You gotta take a shot. You have to live at the edge of your capabilities. You gotta live where you're almost certain you're gonna fail. That's the reason for practice. Practice is controlled failure. You're getting to your limit, getting to your limit, getting to your limit. You can't lift that, you can't do that, until you get to the point that all of a sudden your body makes the adjustment, and then you can do it. Failure actually helps you to recognize the areas where you need to evolve. So fail early, fail often, fail forward. I found myself in a room with Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I was like, okay, I want to be the biggest movie star in the world. And Arnold Schwarzenegger, he said,
the most important thing is that you have a vision, that you have a goal. Because without that vision and without that goal, again, you're drifting around and you're never gonna end up anywhere. People don't become successful just by accident. You know, I mean, maybe the guy that found gold in California and started the gold rush, but don't count on it.
You're listening to Power Plug Radio, home of your throwback jams.
We are back. We are back for another episode of the Jumpstart Your Business with Stephanie A. Wynn. I am your host. I can't hear. Sorry, y'all. Okay, so I want to give a shout out to our Facebook listeners out there in Facebook Live, Power Plug Radio. I want to also thank those who are listening live on powerplugradio.com, Twitter, YouTube, Facebook Live, Google app, Apple app, Alexa. So this week's episode, we're going to talk about how are you keeping track of your records in your business, really the importance of bookkeeping, right? So this is just going to be a continuation of my podcast from yesterday. I think it's so vital that we understand what we're doing in business. So before we get into the Jumpstart Your Business with, into the segment, the Jumpstart Your Business with Stephanie A. Wynn. It is a radio segment where we talk about business tips that will assist those who are seeking to start a business, or for those who have a business and they just seem stuck, right? So let's get right into this week. What is the weather like today in St. Petersburg, Florida? The high is going to be 82 degrees and the low will be 73. Ooh, can you believe that? Summertime is on its way. Listen. So let's talk about it. It's Memorial Day weekend. Happy Memorial Day weekend, everybody. What are you all doing for your weekend this week? Like, are you planning anything? Anybody cooking, grilling out, going to the park, going to the beach, going to the pool? What are we doing? By the way, did you all do a self-care day this week? I did yesterday. I went to the beach and caught a sunset. It was so amazing, amazing, amazing. If you haven't done that, you should try doing that. There's nothing like a sunset on the Gulf of Mexico. There's no other like it, right? So we're going to get into this week's topic. But before we get into it, as I always like to say, starting a business can be scary and exciting at the same time. But before you start your business, you must start with the renewing of your mind. And what is the renewing of your mind? The renewing of your mind is where you have a growth mindset. And that's where you want to, you're always that growth mindset person They're always willing to learn. They're always willing to grow. They don't let things or distractions deter them from pushing forward in their business. They don't self-sabotage everything, and they work while they wait. And they help others as they are working on building their success or getting to, their success. So, fixed mindset person is that person who's always self-sabotaging. Success hasn't happened yet. Why is it happening quick enough? Other people are moving forward and I'm not. I should have had success by now. But this person self-sabotages everything. Nothing is good. Nothing happens great. To me, I think that's a bad way to be when you have that fixed mindset. So we want to make sure we have a growth mindset when you're trying to build your business, your brand, or your book. So let's get into this week's topic, y'all. Like, we need to have this discussion about record keeping. Like, a lot of our small business owners have businesses. We have, or even startups. So we start off with, our intentions are good on keeping good records, but do we really do that? So when it's time to file your taxes, guess what? You're all over the place. You're scattered because you don't have great bookkeeping. You don't have any great records. So let's talk about that. How are you keeping track of your business records? What are you doing to keep track of them? So what is bookkeeping? I want to describe that so everybody knows what bookkeeping truly is. Bookkeeping involves the recording on a regular basis of a company's financial transactions. That's pretty much what it is. Like, you keeping track of your financial transactions. Like, you got to know your numbers. And I talked about this on the Let's Talk Business with Stephanie and Wynn yesterday. Your numbers are so important. A lot of times we don't like to look at the numbers. But we look at the numbers coming in, but we don't like to look at the numbers going out. And so in order to know your true exact numbers, like your total expenses, you must understand what you're bringing in versus what you're bringing out. You need to know both, right? So how are you keeping track of those numbers, right? Let's talk about that. Like, do you have an Excel spreadsheet, or do you have it in your head? Oh, I made this amount of money this month. Or do you have a payment processing system that keeps track of your transactions, like Square or PayPal or Stripe? Those are just to name a few of the payment processors. How are you keeping track of what's coming in and what's going out? Are you keeping track of your expenses, or are you just got a mental note, like you're making a mental note of this particular transaction, these transactions that you're doing? So if you were to get someone to invest in your business and they ask you about your numbers, what are you providing them so that they can see these numbers and what you're making? So if you're generating income, also known as revenue, how are you keeping track of that? And the reason why I want to talk about this is because we know with the pandemic, all of us had, it affected everybody. People in their business, people in big corporations. And so a lot of service providers, barbers, stylists had to close their business. A lot of restaurants had to close their business. And so they lost a lot of their income for the majority of 2020. So how could you prove that you lost that revenue? Is it by what you say you lost, or do you have this documented? Does that make sense? So if you want to join in on this discussion about how do you keep track of your business records, call in 727-686-0512. Now, I have a question to ask. Why do you not have your records together when it's time to go to your tax account, like your accountant? Do you not? Oh, I don't have this together, or you ran all of your transactions in your personal account. Your personal and your business is all mixed together. I've been there, done that. I understand, you just didn't make the time to get the business account established. So now you're pressed for time, and now you have to manually go through these transactions to weed out the business transactions versus the personal. And that can be such a headache. Like, that's a headache. That is a headache. So let's talk about that. What systems do you have in place to keep track of your records? Do you have a personal business account and a personal account versus a business account? Or do you have both? Or if you don't have an LLC established, or you don't know what entity you're going to choose yet, do you have 2 separate personal accounts, one where you run all of your business transactions through? Because that's going to help you keep records of the business transactions separate from your personal, right? I'm just saying, we got to keep good records. I think we need to understand, like, in order to grow your business, you got to start with organizing the business first. Your goal should be to start straight off the bat with organizations, having your business in order. And that means keeping track of your records. So if you cannot afford a CRM, and I'm going to talk about what that is again, because I think this is so important when you're running a business. And maybe you have multiple businesses. A CRM is your best friend, because you could set up multiple businesses in your CRM that will keep track of all of your businesses, all of their contact information, all of your leads, all of your financials, all in one software system. So what do you say? I can't afford a CRM system. It costs too much. Well, let's think about that. If you are running 2 businesses and all you have is Excel or Google Sheets, what you want to do is you want to make sure that you're very detailed on your expenses, your income, like the total sales, and you want to have the different months, right? But if you have a CRM, which is a customer relationship management software system, right? This system, this helps business owners nurture their relationships with their clientele. Like, it's just so much easier for you to communicate with your clients. You can send invoices through your CRM. You can submit contracts. You pretty much can run your business you can streamline your business and run it so efficiently with a CRM. And it also assists with the organization. Again, I'm talking about organizing your business, efficiency, time management, and impressing your clients every step of the way. So there are a few that I want to throw out here. CRMs, you got Dubsado, which is Dubsado. And then you have Honeybook, like honey and book together. And then you also have 17 Hats. And 17 Hats, I like 17 Hats because it's simplistic. Like, you could do everything in 17 Hats. It's not so technical. Dubsado, if you're not techie, you're going to struggle with that because it's very technical. Like, you need to understand it. But let's talk about this CRM. Your CRM is how, when you start, for my service, like my coaches, my consultants and coaches, my virtual assistants out there, my online businesses who have products, right? You can set up your CRM to where all of your transactions that come through, like, it records everything. So for my people who are doing business via Cash App, right, when you go to generate these reports, like, when you're trying to get funding, they don't want to see your Cash App transactions. They need to know exactly, like, is this a real business? Is this truly a business? Are you set up correctly? I'll give you an example. So again, I'm gonna go back to COVID-19. Everybody was shut down. So, but the SBA came out with the EIDL loans, grants, and the PPP. Well, one of the requirements was that you had to provide documentation to show that you were in business in February of 2020, right? So if you don't have the invoice of that, you don't have a bank statement, right? What else could you have provided them with? You could have provided them with a profit and loss statement that shows your business name, your tax ID number, and your transactions, right? So you don't have to try to fumble and get this stuff together. Does that make sense? So the goal of having good record keeping or bookkeeping, you want to make sure that you have everything in place so that you're not scrambling when it's time to file your taxes. So my next question is, do you understand your numbers? Do you understand your numbers? And what do I mean by that? I mean that, do you know how much, if I were to ask you in your business, do you know how much income you're bringing in every month? If I were to ask you, how much do you charge for a service? Do you know those numbers? Or if someone call you and say you do a consultation with them and they're telling you you listening to the potential client, they're telling you what they need, and guess what? You can tell them, you know in your mind what they're going to need because you know your numbers. You know how much time it's going to take for you to help service this one client, right? Do you really know your numbers? Like, how much does your product cost? How much does it cost for you to make this one item? For my creators out there who are logo and graphic designers or content writers, how much does it cost for you to create this content? What's the length of time, right? So you got to know your numbers. If someone comes to me and say, you know, I want to publish a book, I have a book, a manuscript, I want to publish my book, can you help me with that? I already know how much that's going to cost because I know my numbers. I'm just saying, you got to know. If someone comes to me and say, hey, you know, I've been selling my book, nothing is working, I just don't know what to do. I know they need brand awareness because the reason why your book isn't selling because people don't know where you are, that you exist as an author. That's 99% of the problem with authors. So again, know your numbers, know your audience too. That's important too. Like, you have to really know who you're serving. Like, who are you serving? Does that make sense? So I want y'all to chime in. Do you know your numbers? Or are you just guesstimating? Do you know what it's going to cost for you to put together? If someone came to you and said, hey, I have a project, I need you to do this project, and I need it done by X amount of date, how much is it going to cost you to get that project done? You should know that. Like, I want you to think about, like, how much income are you generating each week or month? Like, do you know how much money is coming in? And do you know how much money is going out? So let's say you've generated $20,000 for the month of May. But you don't know where that money's gone. That's because you don't know your numbers. But if you go back in your transaction history, you can see where the breakdown is. Like, okay, oh wow, I spent $1,000 over here in dining out, or $5,000 in dining out. Then you spend another $5,000 with getting equipment or supplies. Like, it will show in your transactions if you're keeping good records. I'm just saying. So what are your monthly or weekly expenses? Like, what, that's my next question. Like, what are your expenses? We got to know how much income we're generating, right? Because we know the money that's coming in. We see that, the cha-ching. You know, y'all get the alerts on your phone or when money comes in or an order has been placed. But what are your expenses, like the money going out each week or each month? What does that look like? It's not going to look pretty. I know. I used to avoid it like the plague. You know, I don't want to look at my bank account because it might look, you know, Or when I had the ice cream shop and I would make cash, I would get cash every day. So I knew even if I had a slow day, I was gonna have some type of money come in, right? But the thing was, I needed to deposit every day, make a deposit. So it shows, even if you don't deposit all the money, you keep some on hand, make some type of deposit in your account. Because you want, when it's time for you to go and apply for these grants, apply for some help, you can show that, hey, although I may not have made $100,000, I did make something. Just saying, does that make sense, y'all? I'm just saying. So we're gonna take a break. When we come back, we're gonna talk about why it's so important to have bookkeeping in place. Okay, we'll come back soon.
You're listening to Power Plug Radio, home of your throwback jams. You're listening to Power Plug Radio, home of your throwback jams.
We are back. We are back for another from the break, y'all. We back. Okay. So before the break, we talked about what are your expenses, the money going out of your business each month or each week, right? So what are your expenses? I want you guys to like really think about these two questions. What is the money coming in and what is the money going out? Whether it's by the week, by the day, by the month, however you track your money, but you got to know your numbers. And I say start June 1st because June is a new month. We're almost through the month of May. So start June 1st with tracking your numbers. Like, it's going to help you in your business. I promise, I promise, I promise. So let's talk about the next segment. We're going to get right into what's coming up for the month of June on the Jumpstart Your Business with Stephanie A. Wynn with Power Plug Radio. To all of my authors that are local, St. Petersburg, Florida, I will be interviewing 4 authors for the month of June on the radio show. And so I need you all to inquire if you want to be a part of the show to talk about your book, your brand, and your business. Hit me up. I'm going to put the... you can email info at Stephanie, STEPHANIE, A as in Apple, WYNN.com. You can find me on Facebook, Stephanie Wynn. Send me a message, and I'm gonna put the email in the description. And I'll also put a notice out on my Facebook page that we're looking to interview 4 authors local to St. Petersburg, Florida. If you've published a book, if you're in the process of writing a book, or if you have an idea to write a book, I want to interview you on the Jumpstart Your Business with Stephanie A. Wynn, Power Plug Radio. Remember, guys, like, if nobody knows that your book exists, nobody knows to buy what you're selling. And that's the same thing in business. If you have a business and you're just selling to your Facebook friends, at some point you're going to have to expand your audience, right? You got to expand out from that because your audience is going to get tapped out. And how do you do that? Well, let me talk about that. So for months, I've been getting a lot of inquiries that, I'm frustrated because, I've sold to my friends. I've sold to my family. I've sold to, my coworkers, and I'm tapped out. Well, a lot of times what happens is when you're tapped out, right? You're tapped out because you don't know who your target audience is. Pretty much that's what it is. You don't know. You're not clear on your target audience, and you haven't really solidified the need for this very service or product that you have. So I've created the Jumpstart Your Business with Stephanie A. Wynn. It's a business group coaching. It's an affordable step-by-step marketing, branding, and business development coaching community for the busy entrepreneur who wants to get their business off the ground without burning out in the process. A lot of us are so busy with, running our business, working on the business, working in the business, that we get tired. We don't know what to do. We've gotten the LLC. We've chosen the entity. We got the tax ID number, but we just don't know where to go. So why should you join this community? This group coaching program is an exclusive, supportive, accountability community that will help business owners start your business from scratch or grow your business for my entrepreneurs who are already in business. By using the done-for-you branding, marketing, and business development tools such as we're going to be providing business contracts and client onboarding forms, website branding, templates, and logo assessments. We're going to be doing monthly and weekly marketing plans to help you get in front of your ideal clients or customers, and social media marketing strategies for Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. That's right, Ms. D. expand your audience, take a leap of faith. That's right. And you're also going to get instant access to our private Facebook group. So, and the value of this is that you'll be getting monthly coaching from me and industry experts. So I'm not just providing all these tools, I'm providing content already done for you that you need for your business so that you can jumpstart your business and go back to being productive. So in this group community, you're going to get business startup training. You're going to get, for my entrepreneurs out here who don't know what to do after they've published their book, you're going to get entrepreneur training. That's going to include how to market your book, how to get your book in the Barnes & Noble, Target, all of the online retailers, what you need. You need a media kit, customized media kit, and why you need it. We're also going to be doing brand development training. I think this is so vital because if nobody knows that you have a business, nobody knows to buy what you're selling. Again, social media management training. And then we're going to also give you the business contracts and templates. That's what I talked about earlier. If you're a life coach, consultant, or you're providing a service, how are you protecting your brand? And what I'm saying by that is, how do you do business with your clients? Are you just doing business via Cash App? Do you not have any contracts in place? You want to make sure that you're doing business the right way. If you hire somebody to create a logo or graphic design for you, and who owns that intellectual property? Who owns that? Do you own it, or do the graphic designer own it? And if you don't have that in place, you need to be a part of this group because we're going to give you those templates that you need. Even a work for hire. If you hire an intern, they need to be signing an independent contractor agreement. A lot of people don't do that. They just hire them on. It's time for us to start doing business. Stop the hustle. Let's do business. Hustle has become a cliche word. And sometimes hustle can come across as a negative term when you're doing business and trying to be professional, right? You don't want to just have a hustle. You want to do business. And so we're also going to be providing marketing your business. And this is a topic that a lot of entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, they run from because they feel like it's just a headache. I just can't do it. Yes, you can. If you have a product or a service that you truly believe in and it's of value to your audience, they'll buy what you're selling. But they cannot buy what you're selling if they don't know that you exist. I'm going to say this again. They cannot buy what you're selling unless they know you exist. So if you're non-existent, wherever they're most active, if they're active on social media, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Etsy, Pinterest, wherever they're most active, that's where you need to be. I'm just saying. And you need to show up every time. Stop making excuses as to why you're not showing up. Just show up. Just show up. Because people want solutions to their problems. And if you got the solution, provide it to them. Let them know that it's available to them. Does that make sense? So this is only $47 a month. What I just described to you guys is only $47 a month. And again, it's not about me. It's bigger than me. But to sign up for this, you can go to StephanieAWynn.com, click the membership tab. I'm going to also put the link in the description on Facebook. Listen, if you want to jumpstart your business the right way, and right now you can't afford it, I get it. I've been there. I've done that. But guess what I did? I did free until I couldn't do free anymore. And then I started investing in myself. I started getting in front of these influencers who were where I wanted to go. And they helped me get to where I am now. Not because I said I couldn't afford it. It was because I believed in me. When I had my ice cream shop, I had no point of reference. Nobody gave me no instructions to open up this business. But what I did was I went to the table where they were teaching me how to be a business person, how to conduct business, right? So again, it's only $47 a month, and you're going to get all of these tools, these templates, these contracts. You guys, we got to start setting yourself up. If you are doing, because the world is opening back up again, when you do live events, do you have an agreement? So when you go in to do these live events, you have a hold harmless disclosure on your agreements? A lot of us don't. We just have the workshops. Do you have where you have the people, they are aware that this is your content, that they can't take this content and repurpose it. People will steal your content. We're going to teach you how to do that. Like in this group, again, I'm going to have the trademark attorneys in this group to help you all. It's more than just getting the LLC and getting the S Corp or the C Corp. We got to protect our brand. And to do that, we definitely got to be about our business. So thank you, Ms. D, for tuning in. Show up and show out. Show who you are. That's right, Ms. D. Hey, good morning, Velma. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm serious. Like, so the Jumpstart Your Business with Stephanie A. Wynn group coaching, it's an exclusive. Again, it's an affordable step-by-step marketing, branding, and business development coaching community for the busy entrepreneur who wants to get their business off the ground without burning out in the process. And it's affordable. So if you have any questions or you want to inquire more about it, again, go to stephanieawynn.com, select the membership button, and all of the information is there. Again, I'm interviewing authors for the month of June. And so, yeah, if you want to interview on the Jumpstart Your Business with Stephanie A. Wynn, Power Plug Radio, would love to have some local authors come in. I'm truly passionate about helping my authors. Don't get discouraged because maybe somebody told you wouldn't make it, or your book isn't going to sell, or you're not going to do well. I'm a firm believer that your book will take you as far as you want to go. If you believe in your book and your brand, your book will take you far. And I'm not just saying off of the book sales. You got to think past the book sales. You got to be more of open-minded about your book. Like, turn your book into a business. That's one thing you can do. So again, I want the local authors in St. Pete to reach out to me so I can interview them. And so we're going to get into the our weekly 3 tips takeaway for this segment. So this week, 3 tips takeaway is regarding the keeping the importance of bookkeeping, right? Number 1, get an accountant for your business. Get you an accountant that's professional and competent. And I'm not being, saying it out of malice. I'm saying that so that you have an accountant that can get your books right. Get you an accountant for your business. Number 2, get your personal budget in place. Get a personal budget in place for your business. Like, what is your budget for the month? If you're bringing in $10,000, okay, it's $10,000. But if you got to use all of that $10,000 to put back into the business, you don't really have no budget. It's $10,000 that you making for the month. So you want to make sure you get a personal budget in place. Number 3, keep your personal and business finances separate. I can't stress this enough. Keep your personal and business finances separate. I'm telling you, when I had my ice cream shop, at first I had a personal business bank account where I just deposited all the money. I had 2, my personal account, and I had another personal account for my business. But I went to SunTrust at that time and opened up a business checking account so that I could run my business more efficiently and effectively, so that when my accountant got the statements for the year, we could do business I can continue to run my business and pay my taxes on the business. Does that make sense? So when you don't have your records in order and you're all over the place, you're commingling all of your personal and your business together, it's so stressful because now you got to take an additional amount of time that you already don't have and figure out what's business and what's personal. Does that make sense? Hey, Corinthians, shout out to my Facebook Live listeners. Again, you guys, I'm really serious about us getting our business in order. We got to do better by getting our business in order, especially our records. If you have a business and you're doing business and you're making income, generating revenue, you should have some type of record-keeping system. I talked about the CRM, which is the Customer Relationship Management System. You're going to need that at some point in time. If you don't have it, maybe you have an Excel spreadsheet. And you're old school in it. You're doing manual, you're inserting like your income for the month of May. So you have 12 tabs for that year. And so you just put your incoming, your revenue, your income, and then you put your expenses, the money going out. I mean, until you can invest in a CRM. So the CRMs that I highly recommend is 17 Hats. I'll put the link in 17 Hats if you want to check out 17 Hats. It's a really good, it's so simplistic. It is simplistic enough for you to get your business going and moving in the right direction. You can link up your payment processor like Square, PayPal, Stripe. It's simplistic. You can put your business logo on there so that you can brand and communicate with your audience, your clientele, and it looks professional. It's clean, right? So again, the purpose of this episode is to bring awareness to the importance of bookkeeping, right? So this is the part of the show that I truly love. The ships. Y'all ready for the ships? At some point on your entrepreneurship journey, you will encounter some type of ship. Friendships, relationships, partnerships, entrepreneurship. But whatever ship you choose, make sure that your ship is free from holes and that it is solid. And what do I mean by solid? For the purpose of this episode today is make sure you have your bookkeeping in order. Make sure you're keeping track of your financial transactions, the money coming in and the money going out. That's the money coming in and the money going out. And also know how much your products are. How much, what does it cost for someone to do business with you? Do you know those numbers? I'm just saying. If you don't know your numbers, it's time to get those numbers in place. So I want to thank you all for tuning in to the Jumpstart Your Business with Stephanie A. Wynn on Power Plug Radio. Be sure to tune in every Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Power Plug Radio is the home of the Throwback Jams. You can download the Power Plug Radio app in Google Play. Listen live on Facebook, Power Plug Radio, Amazon Alexa. You can call in to join the conversation, 727-686-0512. And to our powerplugradio.com listeners, thank you for tuning in. YouTube listeners, thank you all for listening in today. Again, get those books together, guys, because that's going to save you in the long run. That's going to help you grow your business. All right? Until next time, I'll talk to you soon. Have a wonderful weekend.
You're listening to Power Plug Radio.
Are not willing to do what it takes to make their dreams come true. The Marines have a saying, everybody wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. The center of bringing any dream into fruition is self-discipline. Something as simple as food and eating. It's not about